ポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Hey guys, Kakarot197 again. This time with an unboxing and review of the Wonder Arts Zenith, provided to me by my favorite online hobby store, Hobbylink Japan. And if you too have an important city to defend, or you're just looking to bolster your OCU forces, there is a link down below to buy this bad boy for yourself. And don't let the cover of the box deceive you. This is not the Urban Camo version, but the Arid version. Fortunately, there is a sticker on the box to differentiate between the two, and on the back of the box we also have a clear window to show us the figure. And honestly, it looks like it already went through a fight. So let's quickly free this thing from its paper and plastic prison to get it in fighting shape. And the Zenith itself is quite a nice looking figure. I also love how they did the quote-unquote manual by having it printed on some cardboard, which actually does look quite nice as a backdrop for the figure itself. But enough about that, and let's focus a little bit more on that figure. The molding here is really nice. We've got a lot of detailing all over the thing that's also made to pop thanks to the weathering effect that they applied to this thing. And even though there are a few signs of being a mass-produced figure, it's nothing too bad. The one thing I could have done without though is the Made in China on the back of it, but I guess you gotta have it somewhere on these figures. And then the articulation on the Zenith is equally nice. The head is on a double ball joint, goes a little bit up, a little bit down, goes forwards and backwards, and rotates around about as far as the figure, well, as the design of the machine itself will allow for. Then these shoulder units are on a double ball joint, going nicely out, forwards, backwards, will go up and down as well, and they'll also allow this thing to kind of position itself backwards or forwards, depending on how you like it best. And then the shoulders themselves are on a hinge joint, inside of which is a ball joint, and then there is some extra upwards movement on that ball joint. So sufficient to say, it's got some pretty damn articulated shoulders. And then the shoulder armor can also go up and down. Then the arms will rotate around below the shoulders, above the elbow as well, just in case that is your thing. Then it'll bend at the elbows on two joints, and then the hands are on ball joints, will wiggle around, turn around a little bit, and do everything a ball joint does. Then we get another ball joint inside of the body, so it goes nicely backwards, a little bit forwards, and a little bit of rotation along with some side-to-side movement. Then we have a rotational joint right there, goes all the way. And then we get another ball joint in the legs right there, and this thing that looks like a ball joint is actually just a hinge joint that goes up and down. And now, even though this looked quite limited at first, it does achieve some quite nice outwards movement thanks to that double joint. Then it'll of course also rotate around all the way and go quite nicely in and out. Then we have a double ball joint at the knees, and the feet go nicely forwards and backwards on their ball joint, side to side, and of course also rotate around all the way. And now let's bring in those accessories because, well, things here are a bit more of a mixed bag. And the first thing we of course gotta attach to our Wanzer is the backpack. Gotta make sure we have enough energy to attach all of the weapons that we want to. This simply slots into the giant hole on the back, so no matter what, you're always going to want to have a backpack on there because, well, more energy never hurts, and of course you want to cover up that hole. Then one thing you might have noticed is that there are quite a few other holes all over this thing, which are of course to attach accessories to, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to use all of them. What we do get with this set are 2 shields that can be attached to the sides of the shoulders. Then when it comes to the weapons, we get 2 machine guns, with this very nice long one being the first one we're gonna have a look at. And just like the Zenith itself, this is a very nice accessory. There is a seam line running right through the middle of it, but it's not too noticeable. And one cool thing is that this magazine can be attached on either side, depending on which way you prefer it. To attach it, you simply jam it into the provided left or right holding hand, rip off the other hand, and then put this thing in there. Then next up is the second machine gun, and from the side everything looks really good. But then when you look at it from the top or the bottom, especially if you have a close look, that seam line is quite noticeable, and especially with the kind of weathering effect they did on this thing, it makes it stand out even more. Fortunately, we do have the rest of the Zenith to kinda camouflage that, so to speak. Then it's the same as with the other machine gun, you simply ram it into either the left or right holding hand, then you rip off the other one and slide this in there. And then the final weapon we're getting is the bazooka, and unfortunately it's kind of the same situation as with the second machine gun. From the side, everything looks really nice, and one thing I forgot to point out is that on all of the weapons, if it wants to focus, there we go, the name of the weapon and like the manufacturer is also listed. So that is some really nice detailing. Unfortunately, when we turn it over, we do get a nasty seam line running right through the middle of it, although it is less noticeable on this thing. Then it does have a movable handle to make posing that much easier, and then you can choose to have it either in the left or the right holding hand. And now, if you're familiar with my weapon preferences on mobile suits, you might be wondering why I don't have the bazooka on my Zenith. And well, the thing is, with front mission, I typically go for machine guns or sniper rifles and then have rocket launchers mounted on the shoulder instead of a bazooka. Unfortunately, this thing does not come with the rocket launchers that I love so much in front mission. What we do get are 2 open palm hands that you can use for some more dynamic poses. Oh, and talking about those shoulder-mounted missile launchers, if you want to, all of these holes are the same, so you could technically also mount the shields where the rocket launchers would go, or onto the side of the arms. Then if you get one of these other Wander Arts figures that does come with a missile launcher, you can of course hook it up to this thing, whether it's on top, on the side, or if you really want to, on the side of the arms. So as always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And well, for 8,800 yen, the only problem is the usual problem, the price. Because at that price, I would have liked it if the accessories were just that little bit better. The Zenith itself is awesome. The first machine gun we had a look at, really good. The shield's nice as well, the backpack is really good, but then that bazooka and the second machine gun do feel a bit on the cheaper side for the quality figure that this thing is trying to present itself as. That being said, I did fall in love with this thing, and I can definitely see myself getting more of these Wonder Arts in the future. So all that's left to do then is a quick size comparison with the standard sized Gym Custom and the always bulky Zaku 3. And while the Zenith might not be a big boy, it is quite a chunky boy. Again, if you want your own, link down below. And as always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all next time.